Hello, and welcome to Point of View, where we share the stories of notable Pittsburghers from their point of view. Joining us in the center today is Elena LaQuatra, morning traffic anchor and noon news anchor for WTAE Action News 4. Find out more about Elena's journey to broadcasting in Point Park, her past pageant life, and her advocacy work for mental health and the deaf community. This is POV. Thanks for streaming with us. I'm Julianna. Elena LaQuatra joined the WTAE team in 2015 and is now the current morning traffic news reporter and anchor for the noon broadcast. Elena also won Miss Pennsylvania in 2016 and is a pageant coach. She also serves on the board of trustees for the DePaul School for Hearing and Speech in Shadyside. Welcome, Elena.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be back at Point Park University after so many years, and what a beautiful area you have here. I wish this was here when I was a student. This is awesome.
It's so exciting, and we are so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So, first question. Looking back on your time here at Point Park, what is something that you did during your college career that benefited you to be who you are and where you are today?
There's so many things I did while I was at Point Park University. First of all, I took advantage of all the opportunities the school offers to us, and there are so many. One thing I really loved about Point Park is that so many of the professors were already working in the field or currently working in the field while also teaching at Point Park. So I thought that was incredibly beneficial. One of my professors was Michelle Wright, if that name's familiar. She is a morning anchor on WTAE, so we're co-anchors.
Yeah.
And it's funny because she jokes that I was a terrible student. I wasn't. I was fantastic. But now we're co-anchors all these years later, and just having Michelle in my life as a professor back when I was 18, 19 years old has really helped shape me into the anchor I am today. And I love being next to her in the mornings and anchoring with her. So that's one thing I did. I took advantage of internships, of course, in the city, around the city. That's one thing that's so beneficial about Point Park's location, depending on what you want to do. While you are studying here at Point Park University, if it's news, you have a lot of opportunities just miles away. So that's very beneficial. And then, of course, UView. Being a part of UView is really cool. Having that opportunity to get on camera, practice reading the teleprompter, interviewing people like you are. So it's just great that Point Park offers so many opportunities for the students, and it's just up to you to take advantage of them.
Yeah, and it really is so awesome. That's so amazing that you are anchoring now with, you was your professor, right?
Yes.
That is so incredible. I love that. It comes full circle.
It does. It really does.
It does, and that's so special. Yeah,
it is.
You can't find that anywhere else.
You can't. And that's one thing that really drew me to Point Park, too, is that the professors were so knowledgeable, but that they were also, many of them were adjunct professors. They were working in the field at the same time, and I thought that was a unique opportunity.
Right. So amazing. Yeah. Now, you won Miss Pennsylvania USA in 2016. What's it like to compete in a pageant, and what do you have to do to prepare for that?
It feels like a lifetime ago. When people bring that up, I'm like, oh yeah, I was Miss Pennsylvania. Yeah, so that was in 2016. It was an incredible experience. I wouldn't have changed a single thing, even though I lost at Miss USA. That's okay. I still loved the experience of being Miss Pennsylvania, and that year awarded me so many really awesome opportunities. I hosted Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. I was up on stage literally at 4 in the morning announcing Groundhog Day and the festivities that were happening on stage. I traveled across the whole country. I was in New York 3 times a month or so. I was speaking at national fundraising galas. I was serving as the MC for all these different fundraisers, and just the opportunity to be on national TV for the Miss USA pageant was a really neat opportunity as well. So I was so grateful for my experience as Miss Pennsylvania. It takes a lot of work. You know, people who don't know pageants might not realize what goes into competing in one. It's far more than just wearing a bikini on stage and a gorgeous, expensive gown. You also have to do a private interview with the judges. So you have to have something you're passionate about that you can tell the judges about. You have to be confident on stage, walk with confidence, and you have to be active in your community. And once you win that title, it is 365 days of work working in your community, working on yourself, working to inspire others, encourage little girls. There's really a lot that goes into it, more than just what someone who doesn't know pageants might see on TV. So I am so grateful for my pageant experiences, and I loved every minute of being Miss Pennsylvania. Even though I hung the pageant shoes up now, I'm a nobody now, but I'm a has-been Miss Pennsylvania. That's what we call ourselves now.
Oh, please. You are still amazing. Still so prominent.
Thank you.
You said you talked to the judges about a passion. What was that passion you talked about?
Yes, I did. So my story is that when I was 4 years old, I lost all of my hearing to bacterial meningitis. It's kind of a illness. You don't really know why someone gets it, but I contracted it just after my 4th birthday. I lost all of my hearing, I lost all of my balance, and I got a cochlear implant, which is a hearing device. I wear it right behind my left ear. You always want me to switch cameras, give you a close-up shot of that.
Yeah.
So this is the cochlear implant. Incredible piece of technology. So I just take that off and I am literally 100% deaf in both ears. Pop it on, turn the button on, and I can hear like it's nothing. So I'm very grateful for the technology, and I'm grateful for the school I attended, which is the DePaul School for Hearing and Speech in Shadyside. It's an oral deaf school, so they teach their students how to listen and speak, even if they are 100% deaf like I am. So everything just kind of came together when I was a child, that I was put on this path where I was able to regain my hearing through this technology and learn how to speak again, because obviously I would not have the career that I have if I didn't have that. And that was something I was happy to share with the judges, as that's something that's been a part of my life forever. Since I was a little girl, I've been a spokesperson for oral deaf education and for the DePaul School for Hearing and Speech, and it's something I'm still passionate about today.
So amazing. That is wonderful. Yeah, I definitely admire that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Now, you have a lot of commitments in your life. How do you balance work and life?
Well, I don't sleep very much. That's not good advice, though, so let me think. I definitely have to really prioritize what's important. Obviously, my career is very top of that list, along with, probably above that is my family and making sure I'm spending a lot of time with them. My husband, who's the best husband in the world, Jordan, is like, just honestly, I married up, and people think it's the opposite, but no, I married up. He is wonderful. So that's my first priority, of course. But then my career is very important to me, so I devote a lot of time to that. I have my little side thing that I do, mentoring girls in pageants and life, helping them with their public speaking skills. That's something else very important to me, because I get so much joy out of it, being a mentor to young girls. And then you kind of just have to figure out where you can fit in the other stuff. I love doing community events, so I try to fit that in as much as I can, even when my schedule's really busy. And I do drink a lot of coffee. I have a coffee from the school cafe that I picked up on the way down here, because I've been awake since 2 in the morning. And now we're at 2 in the afternoon. So I think just kind of figuring out what your priorities are and just working on time management. And it took me a long time to get to where I am. I had terrible time management skills and would be very stressed with everything I had on my plate. And I feel like now at almost 32 years old, I finally feel like I can do it all and still get good sleep.
Yeah, and that's incredible. That's very admirable, because definitely at this age, I'm definitely like, how do I balance everything on my plate? But
you'll figure it all out.
Yeah,
it may take a while, but you will figure it out.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it, the growth and development that you have as a person, not only in the career, but just with life in general, too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's awesome, and you're definitely an inspiration for that. You're already 12 hours awake and going, and you got great energy.
Thank you, and that's all thanks to the coffee.
Coffee's the best.
Coffee's
Can't
the
live
best.
without it. Now, what is your favorite thing about all of the positions you hold?
At the station?
We'll say first with the station, and then we can get into eyes and ear and even being like a mentor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love everything that's going on in my life right now, and I think that's why it's so hard for me to say no to stuff, because I enjoy all of it genuinely. My positions at the station are fun. I'm the morning traffic anchor, so it's up to me to tell you what's going on the roads as you're making your morning commute. So whether there's an accident on the Parkway East or 28, which there always is practically every morning, or whether weather is impacting traffic, it's up to me to kind of let you know. So you can feel safe as you're heading out the door, or know if you need to give yourself extra time as you're making your way to work or school. So that's my job in the morning. It changes every single day. Of course, no day is the same when I'm talking about traffic. And then I transition, and the noon newscast, I'm the anchor. So I am doing an hour-long newscast, solo anchoring, So today we covered national headlines. We covered the tragic bus accident in Ohio where 6 people died. We covered local news, including 2 fatal shootings in Pittsburgh over the last day that happened. So we also cover fun stuff too. So we have a little bit of everything in our noon newscast. So that's my role at the station. I love doing it. I love where I'm at right now. Believe it or not, I kind of like the morning shift. I like kind of getting up early before everyone else is up. And I'm able to get out the door quickly because there's no distractions. And then my day ends a little bit earlier too. You know, I'm not trying to fight evening rush hour to get home, which is nice. And then everything else in life. I'm a board member for the Eye and Ear Foundation, as well as the DePaul School for Hearing and Speech, the school that I mentioned I went to as a child. I love being a board member just because these organizations mean a lot to me, and they helped me when I was younger and deaf and learning to listen and speak again and trying to kind of get back into life as someone who has hearing because I was deaf for about a year before I got this implant. So those organizations, both the Eye and Ear Foundation and the DePaul School for Hearing and Speech, helped me so much. And I feel like I'm forever indebted to them. So I do what I can as a board member to try to help raise them up. And what else do I do? Being a mentor to young girls, that is my favorite thing. That's like where my happiness comes from. I probably have mentored about 150 girls over the years. And it's just such a cool opportunity for me. And I become friends with these girls, and they're so funny. They'll text me all day long, like their boy drama, like, you know, if they got a bad grade in their class, how they tell their parent about their bad grade. And I say like I have 150 little sisters. I really have loved my involvement in mentoring young girls. It's been very special to me.
That is so precious, and they have such a great idol to look up to
Thank
as well.
you. You're so
and
sweet.
I do have the WTAE app, so I always get the message, Elena says. And
Elena says there's an accident on the Parkway East.
Yes, and I'm ready for it. I'm like, Mom, did you see that? Did you guys see that?
I love that.
Look out.
The updates are the best. So yeah, if you're someone who makes a morning commute and you're worried about the roads, you can just download the app, subscribe to those notifications, and you'll get them as it's happening, real time.
So convenient. Now, what advice would you give to broadcast students aspiring to do what you do?
Take advantage of every opportunity. That's my best advice to you. And that's something I tried to do when I was in school here. Not just the opportunities through the school and internships, but also just kind of seek out what opportunities there might be in your community. I feel like especially nonprofit organizations are looking for people. Maybe your interest is video editing and shooting video. Nonprofit organizations are looking for people who are willing to put together videos for them from their charitable galas for free. That's an opportunity for you to kind of build your resume and say you worked with a nonprofit. So I did a lot of that. I emceed so many events through the years. My pageant experiences and opportunities helped me kind of get my foot in the door. But I was hosting some of Pittsburgh's biggest galas when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. So that was a really important thing for me to experience before even getting into the news industry, because I felt like I was establishing myself and I was growing and learning and improving my public speaking skills just through these opportunities I was finding. I also found an opportunity with the Meadows Casino in Washington County, the Hyatt Hotel in Washington County, Tanger Outlets, to host videos for them, promotional videos for them. So I worked with a videographer and I hosted these little fun videos promoting the casino and promoting Tanger Outlets. And again, great on-camera experience that I would not have had otherwise. And I got paid to do those. So not only was it a good experience, but I was getting money for it too. So I think just taking advantage of every opportunity, but sometimes you do have to do the work and seek those out. But I have to say, it was almost easy for me to get my foot in the door in Pittsburgh news because of all this experience I had and all the connections I had. And I had a reel that I could give to news directors with not just stuff from school, but stuff from actual companies and businesses I had worked with. So that would be my best advice. I think that really helped me.
Yeah, and that's super helpful. And it's so nice that we are right here and there are so many companies that we can help out and, you know, get involved with to help, like you said, build our resume, build our reels and such like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the best thing about Point Park. One of the best things. I think there's a lot of great things about Point Park, but one of the best things is the location. You know, you're not isolated like Penn State University where you have the university and that's it. There's so many things here in Pittsburgh and so many different opportunities to take advantage of.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. And you did such a good job of doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. I tried.
Now, what are challenges that you have faced in this career?
Oh, there's many. I think, I faced some funny ones. Looking back on them, they're funny with my hearing loss. One, for example, was it was the noon newscast. We were about 5 minutes into the show, and my implant stopped. That means the batteries are dead. So I'm like, no big deal.
Right.
I pull the batteries out. It takes me 30 seconds to change them. That's fine. I changed the batteries on a commercial break. It did not turn back on. So I'm like, oh no, maybe this is a dud pair of batteries. Let me try again. Let me change them one more time. Change them again. Commercial break's running out, by the way. Change them again, and it still didn't turn on.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, did my implant literally just break? Like, of all times, 5 minutes into the noon newscast that I'm solo anchoring with nobody else here around me. And turns out that's exactly what happened. My implant of all times decided to break. Because it's technology like anything else. I had it for 8 years or so at that point. So it was just time for it to no longer work, and it happened to be while I was anchoring the news. So I went through the rest of that newscast completely deaf. I just kept talking, kept reading the teleprompter. I had a floor director who was helping tell me where to go, what to do. I think at one point I started talking really fast because I couldn't hear myself.
Right.
And he said, slow down a little bit. He was like mouthing things to me so I could understand what he was saying and read his lips. So that was definitely a challenge that I dealt with one day. And there's a lot of situations like that with my hearing. And one thing I'm very lucky for, I have the best team at WTAE. Between the producers, the managers, the photographers, everyone's so willing to help me because they know I'm in a little bit of a unique situation and I might need a little extra help some days. And so everyone's so eager and willing to jump in and help me and do whatever I need to be done in order to get through whatever issue I'm facing. And I'm very, very grateful for that because I know not everybody has that.
Right.
With if they have a disability or need special accommodations. I know companies are not always quick to help and accommodate, and I'm very lucky that that is the case for me. So I do face a lot of challenges with my hearing, but I figure out a way to get through it because I love what I do, and I would never let my hearing disability stop me from anything I want to do, so I find a way to push through. And I think, we all face challenges in the career just as far as like weird working hours, being away from home. I was lucky that my first news job was in Erie, so it wasn't too far from home. And that's where my husband, then boyfriend, is from. And we were living there. So I had him and his family and friends around me, which was helpful. But that's very hard for a lot of people.
Right.
Moving away from home, moving to a small market, making no money at all. I think I made $23,000 my first 2 years in the news business. I think I qualified for food stamps, actually. But so it's a tough industry, working holidays, nights, getting called in on the weekends. I mean, it's definitely a challenging industry, but if you love it and you push through and you really work hard to keep advancing, if your goal is Pittsburgh or New York or network even, you can get there. You just kind of have to suffer and pay your dues in the beginning. There's no way around that, unfortunately, in this business.
Right, and like signing up for that as your major, you kind of know it, but then it's once you get there, you kind of hit that wall, you're like, oh boy, this is what I was prepped for, this is what I heard about.
Yeah.
You gotta get through it, but then, you gotta look at people that like made it, like you and such, and that's just like the source of inspiration. It's so great, again, that you have that community at WTE that helps you out.
Absolutely.
It definitely keeps you going, gets the wind beneath your wings whenever you feel like you can't do it.
Absolutely. And I would suggest for everyone in this industry to find a mentor, somebody that you can reach out to, be in contact with, get advice and critique from on whether you're behind the camera or in front of the camera, because that was one thing that really helped me push to getting back to Pittsburgh from Erie, is that I had a lot of people looking out for me and helping me improve and letting me know when there was a job opening, things of the sort. So I think that's one thing that really helps. Find a mentor, whether you're doing an internship and you really click with an anchor or a reporter and just keep in touch with them, whether it's even a news director or assistant news director at a station that you keep in touch with. And again, just try to always improve, and that really helped me too. So that's another big piece of advice. Find a mentor in the industry that you can keep in touch with.
Wonderful. Noted. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And now on a rough work day, this is kind of piggybacking off of the last question. So on a rough work day, what's something that keeps you going and smiling on camera?
Well, I'm not always smiling on camera. I am a very smiley person, as you can tell. But, the news business is serious more than not. We're reporting on things that are very sad and tragic or very serious that affects people's lives. So I think a lot of what we do is serious, that most of my day I do have a little bit more of a serious demeanor. And when you're a reporter, you really are seeing, unfortunately, the worst of it. Like, you're on scene of these crimes and these fatal fires, and you're hearing about terrible child abuse and animal abuse. I mean, there's just so many tragic things you'll be reporting on that you will have hard days and you will have sad days. And I've cried at work for sure, because of just the things you're talking about are really sad.
Right.
And sometimes they kind of hit you in the heart and you're like, oh gosh, why am I so emotional? I don't even know these people, or I don't even know this situation, but just talking about it so much kind of can affect you. So I think the thing is to just find what grounds you, whether it's talking to somebody, talking to a loved one, maybe putting earbuds in and listening to music. I always loved talking with my photographers when I was a reporter. I love all the photographers I worked with. So just kind of having someone in the news truck with me to talk with and talk things through was very helpful. So I think each person just has to find what grounds them and kind of brings them back to reality when you are having a challenging day. That's very helpful. And in the case of very, very serious, tragic situations like the Tree of Life synagogue shooting, it was right before I'd gotten hired at TAE when that happened. It was like 2 months before not even, about a month before I started. But I know the station brought in comfort dogs, and they just did what they could to try to boost the morale of the employees who were around this tragedy day in and day out. So the station does have your mental health and your best interests at heart, and they do things like that to try to make sure that mentally you're okay when you're dealing with something so tragic.
Right, because that can definitely be very taxing.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine, and I like that they do stuff that is beneficial, and you know, who doesn't love a good therapy dog to come in and you can give all the love-ins to. We have them here, and they make my day.
I love that.
Yes, I love when we see them. They're called the college canines. So
I love that. I don't think those were here when I was in school either. I love that. Yeah, it's important to always look out for your mental health. And so, in the news industry is a very hard business for many reasons. The low pay in the beginning, and you know, the weird hours, working holidays, the tragic things you have to see and hear about. So I think you just have to mentally find where your strength comes from and try to hone in on that when you're in the situation where you're not feeling so great.
Yeah, and that's really great. Yeah. Now, you are an inspiration for so many, and especially with your story of using the cochlear implant. What is it like to be such an inspiration for people?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. You know, I never grew up thinking I was or tried to be or anything like that, and it actually wasn't until I won these pageant titles. I was Miss Pennsylvania in 2016, but prior to that I was Miss Teen Pennsylvania, and I held some other pageant titles. And it was at that point that people were reaching out to me on social media, which was new back then too. It was like Facebook was the cool thing, but people were reaching out to me just saying, oh my gosh, your story has inspired me so much. And I have a daughter or a son who has hearing loss, and this gives me hope that they can have a life where they can do anything they want. It was at that point that I realized my story and what I lived through was inspirational, because up until that point, my parents did not give me any special accommodations or attention. They were very like, don't use your disability as an excuse for anything. Figure it out, and you know, we're not paying you any special attention compared to your sister who does not have a disability like me. So that I grew up with that mindset, not thinking I was special or different or deserved any special accommodations, or you know, my story was anything to like tell people about or brag about. So once I realized it was inspiring to people, it was so heartwarming that just telling my story and what I lived through gave people hope. And it seems weird to me because I'm just like, oh, really? This is just my life, but that's great if it's like inspiring you and helping you. So it really does mean a lot to me to have this story to share and to provide any type of hope or inspiration to someone who might be dealing with something. It really does mean a lot.
Aw, that is so precious. Yeah. And then in your interview video for the DePaul School of Speech and Hearing, I watched that video, and then you said that you became an advocate for yourself at the young age of 8. Now, how has that benefited you to be where you are today, and how is it useful in your career?
Absolutely. I think it's so important for everyone to learn how to be an advocate for themselves, not just, you know, in my case, obviously with my disability, when I mainstreamed from DePaul School for Hearing and Speech, which is a school full of deaf children who have a disability like me, to Hoover Elementary School in Mount Lebanon, where I was the only kid with a disability. I learned how to just let the teachers know or the staff know what I needed in order to hear and do well in class and succeed. So I've been an advocate for myself without even really knowing what that was when I was little, because the school, DePaul School for Hearing and Speech, teaches their students how to do that. So I've been an advocate for myself in that regard my whole life, but I think it served me as an adult too, because I do stand up for myself when necessary. I'm an advocate for myself in many different situations. I do not consider myself combative or confrontational. I always have said I would be a horrible investigative reporter because I'm like, oh no, I don't want to make you feel awkward. I don't want to, I don't want to question you. I won't run after you with the microphone. That's just not my personality or style of reporting. But if there is an issue or a situation where I have to stand up for myself, then I absolutely will.
Right.
And I'm glad that I learned these advocacy skills when I was just a little kid, because they carried with me as an adult.
And it's special that the school teaches you that, because that is one of the most important life skills.
It is.
When I started realizing I had that skill, I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, I can finally stand up for myself.
That's awesome. That's important. It's important in all different aspects of life, but definitely in any type of work, any type of career field. It's good to know how to be an advocate for yourself.
Right, yeah, and it definitely gets you places as
it
well.
Does.
Yeah,
Yep.
and out of places. So
out of places if necessary, yes.
Now, last question here. What do you wish for yourself in the future?
Oh man. Oh gosh, I haven't been asked a question like that in a while. I hope to continue advancing my career in the broadcast industry. I love where I'm at right now. I love doing the traffic and the noon newscast, but one day I do hope to be, I always say, the morning anchor, because I do love that morning shift, as I mentioned. Crazy that I like getting up at 2 a.m. to go to work, but really it does have its benefits. So I would love to be the morning news anchor on WTAE. I love the station, and it's kind of like my home now, being at the station. I love everybody I work with, and I mean that sincerely, because I don't think a lot of people have that at their places of work. And for me, like, everyone at the station was at my wedding. Like, I really love everyone I work with. So I do hope to advance in my career, of course, and grow as a journalist, continue to tell important stories in Pittsburgh, continue to have the opportunity to tell stories that I find are important, that I want to share with others. And that's a cool opportunity that I get at WTAE. If there's something I'm interested in, I just go to my producers, pitch the idea, and they're usually on board for me pursuing it, which I love. And in life, oh gosh, well, I have two chihuahuas, and I want like 50 more. My husband says no, but we'll see who wins that battle. It's gonna be me. My husband and I definitely want kids in the future. No time soon. I'm still young. I feel young, at least. Maybe I'm not that young, but we definitely want children. And just continue being involved in all the things I'm involved with, different organizations, the boards I'm on. I'm really happy with where I am in life now. So I think just kind of furthering that work.
Right. Yeah. Just seeing where life takes you, and just riding the wave. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes,
day
girl.
by day. Absolutely. Well, thanks for the great chat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah. Now stay right there as we move into our photo view speed round. We've scoured the internet and our guests' social media page for pictures that need more context from their point of view. Are you ready, Elena?
I don't think so. I'm nervous, but okay, yeah. Let's do it.
It'll be so great. All right, ready?
Okay. So that was from my bachelorette weekend. It was about almost exactly 2 years ago, early November of 2021. Myself, my mom, my mother-in-law, and I think it was about 15 of my best friends, my whole bridal party, my sister, a couple of my work friends. We went to Nemacolin and Woodlands Resort.
Yes.
Did all the things. We rented this big, gorgeous house. We went horseback riding, so that's what that picture was. And I had a veil attached to my helmet while I was horseback riding. We did clay shooting. We were actually great at it. I'm not being sarcastic. We were really good at it. We had a fabulous steak dinner. We went to the spa. We love Nemacolin, like my friends and I. It's just such a cool place we have right in Fayette County in our little backyard. So it was such a fun weekend. My bridesmaids will text me every year when that comes around. They were just sending me pictures from that weekend. It was so fun.
So fabulous. I've been in Nemacolin before, and it is to die for.
It
is
so
nice.
Oh gosh, I love it there.
Yes, and then Selena was your maid of honor.
She was my matron of honor. She was one, and then my other best friend Jess. I had 2 matrons of honor. I had 11 people and 11 bridesmaids, and my husband had 10 groomsmen. So we had a very large bridal party, about 350 guests at our wedding. So it was big.
So sweet, so fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a fun picture. That was acceptable.
Photo 2 is Giddy Up. Or, I'm so sorry, Day of the Dead. Giddy Up was the first one.
Ooh, that one was a fun one too. This was dark and early in the morning in Erie, and it was Halloween, and I had to, in Erie, there was not a ton of breaking news and serious news because it's a smaller town. So I, in the morning, as the morning reporter, had to come up with a lot of creative things to do on the morning show. So for Halloween, I had an Erie-based makeup artist come to the station and do Day of the Dead style makeup on me. And it was really cool. So she did that for our morning newscast. And it was kind of like just this fun Halloween segment I helped put together. And then I had to go about the rest of my day with that on because I forgot to bring makeup remover. So I went to like a press conference with this Day of the Dead makeup on my face, and I was like, hi, yeah.
Oh no.
Sometimes that happens.
One of the character building moments. Definitely a character building moment for sure.
Exactly. I owned it as best I could.
As you should. It turned out great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, photo 3.
Oh, okay. So that was taken the day it was announced that I was promoted at WTAE.
Aww.
I was a morning reporter for 3 years, and then I was promoted to morning traffic anchor and noon news anchor. And that was part of just some promotional pictures. And so, yeah, it was a really exciting day. It was the end of 2021. It was right before the holidays. I remember taking those.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, it was a very special moment. It was.
Aw. All right, ready for the next one?
Oh, that was fun. That was when I was in Erie, Jet 24, and that was the morning meteorologist, Tom DeVecchio. We like anchored part of the show together, and then he was a weather person, a meteorologist, because, you know, in a small market, you have to do like 6 different jobs. So he was both an anchor and a meteorologist, but he was great. I think it was, I don't remember exactly, there was like something happening, like a lunar eclipse, or I don't know if that's even a thing, but something like that. And there were these 3D glasses that were going around and people were wearing them. So we got a pair for ourselves and wore them on the air for a little bit. I had a lot of fun times in Erie.
Oh, what a fun, that does sound so fun. It's always good whenever you can make light of something and look back and be like, that was great.
Yeah,
yes.
We had a lot of fun, Tom DeVecchio.
Oh,
yep.
That's great. All right, the next photo.
Oh, that was when I was named a member of the Board of Trustees for the DePaul School for Hearing and Speech, that oral deaf school I went to for 4 years as a child. And that was really exciting for me because coming from being a student, and then I was a volunteer and a spokesperson. I helped with the galas. I did so many different things for the school, but being named a board member was kind of like the icing on the cake and a way for me to really help this school in a more serious and prominent role. So that was when I went to go get all my board member information from the school and took that photo outside the building that day.
So sweet. You came full circle.
I did, absolutely.
Oh, so precious. Aw. And then the last photo, yes.
Oh, okay. So I love Nutella. I don't even know why. I just think it's the best thing ever. So like anything Nutella, pancakes, milkshakes, crepes, anything with Nutella, I am buying and ordering, and I have like stocks of it at my house. So one year, that was one of the jobs I was telling you about. I was the host for the Meadows Casino promotional videos called Vibe TV.
Okay.
And this was the Halloween episode. And so the videographer and the production guy told me, like, you need to have a cool costume. I was never a huge Halloween person, so I didn't have any like in the closet that I could go back on. So I had one of my friends make me a Nutella jar costume.
Oh my goodness.
Out of my love for Nutella.
Aww.
And I wore it for that day when I was hosting this Vibe TV show that we did at the Meadows Casino every month. And got paid $500 to do that little job. So again, find those opportunities outside of school and take advantage of that. It was so fun.
Somebody made that too. That is impressive.
I know.
So good.
I know. I like wish I had more reasons to wear it because it's just hanging in my closet now. But
well, did you see the crepe truck out there? They have Nutella crepes over by Village Park.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you might gotta go get
I'm
them.
leaving now.
They're scrumptious too. I had one the other day.
Oh gosh, you shouldn't have told me that.
Oh my goodness.
That's gonna be my dinner now. I loved all those photos. I was nervous at first, but I actually loved that.
No, they're
that was
fabulous.
fun.
Yeah. Well, Elena, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. You were wonderful.
Oh, you're
happy to be with you all.
Yes. Now, you can watch Elena on WTAE Channel 4 weekdays starting at 4:30 a.m. and at noon. And thank you for streaming with us. Our show is produced here at the CMI with thanks from our partners at UView Television and the Point Park News Service. I'm Julianna Brock. We hope to see you next time on POV.